Finally, somebody is listening. I cannot tell you how many times I put videos out on travel trailers, fifth wheels, everything, and people have always said, why can't they put the windows on the campsite, on my side of the camper? Why am I always looking at the neighbor? This one solves for that. And what I like about this, it gives me a very compact but home style feeling, like rolling mobile home away from home. If you have like a decent 3/4 ton pickup, I think you're going to be pretty happy with this one. The weights and stuff put it just a little bit beyond where I feel comfortable calling it safely half-ton towable, but I feel that way about most fifth wheels. But what they did here is they built the kitchen and the entertainment center all into the slide out. It kind of reminds me of something that the Forest River Impression fifth wheel did. But in the Impression fifth wheel, they built one of those hidden bonus bunk rooms behind the television, and that made the floor plan feel squished down and tight. This one, they didn't put the bonus room in the slide out. They just pushed everything back and they opened the space up. But what they did with the seating, I think, is really smart. So first of all, obviously we have awesome canvassing window coverage on this thing, but you have a very comfortable no knee knocker dining arrangement with 2 free floating chairs and then a floating Franken bench that if you want to get it out of there and just have dining table for 2, you could do that. But if you want to have guests over and play cards, you can do that too. It does have actual theater seating segmentation, but the rear wall section of the wraparound L-shaped sofa actually has like a little flip up sort of headrest, so that if you want to have a little daytime lounging place to overlook the big entertainment center, which also is a pantry, you can do that too. True queen bed. Big closet in the bedroom. So they didn't do a closet slide, but they gave you actually more storage than a closet slide without the extra seals and slide out mechanism and those kind of things. Shock dampening pin box was also a surprisingly nice find on this one. Like anything though, it's maybe got a couple shortcomings, but considering this is the most basic thing that Arcadia offers and it goes up 2 layers from here, I am really impressed with what I have seen. And I'd really be curious to know what you think about it. And once again, I have to keep reminding myself that this is the Arcadia Select series. So you may not realize it, but there's 3 members of the Arcadia family. This is Baby Bear. This is the most basic thing they make, and they have stepped it up. I don't know, let me ask you. Does it make you a little more excited? Should I start getting my hands on a couple of the higher end Arcadia models? Like, what's your takeaway? What's your impression of this? One thing I am noticing, because I always try to tell you the good with the bad, it looks like that kitchen slide does have a little bit of a toe kick right there. Some people say, it doesn't bother me at all. Some people absolutely hate it. I just want to let you know it's there. Like a lot of fifth wheels in this size, in this category, by default, you have a single 15,000 BTU central air, but this is 50 amp. And whether it's from the factory or, if you have a dealer do it for you, you can slap a second air conditioner on this. But let's start looking at all the window coverage on this. First of all, I love how across the seating, all the way around the back here, every one of these windows, big, open, lots and lots of airflow. There's almost like basically no notes. Like, I'm just very, very glad with what I see right here. They are pleated blackout night shades. It's not a like a day-night roller shade or anything like that. And this wall feels a little blank to me just because it's such a long, big wall and there's not really anything else up there. But I would probably use it for like an opportunity to decorate. I guarantee you there's someone who's going to they're like, oh, I could put my Live, Love, Laugh sticker up there. Or like Life is the Journey or Roughing It Comfortably. And what do you think, Rebecca? Let's go get some organic kale. Any similarities between persons living or deceased is completely coincidental. But this table setup, I like it. And I like it not only because you can get that one bench out of the way. So if you really want to be able to open the space up, and it is a couple's RV, so for the most part, it is going to be just 2 of you in here. You can make it like super couples friendly. But if you want to open the space up even more, the table also pivots, which can create like a campsite dining desk overlook situation here. And I don't think it's necessarily the greatest desk space available, but if you notice that you got that pop-up power tower over there on that sort of divider console that helps essentially define the kitchen versus the living room, that boxy one thing right there gives it a little bit more definition than I think it otherwise could have. It opens up the space a lot. And the table doesn't fold down against the wall. That would be really cool. This mechanism just doesn't allow for that. But if you get those chairs out of there, that could also be potentially an amazing like dog bed space. Because there's a lot of people like, I don't need a table. I hear that more and more every day. People like, I absolutely do not need a table in an RV. That's a complete waste of space for me. You could absolutely repurpose that in other ways. That bench, you could either get rid of it, you could use it back here like a footrest ottoman, but I don't think you're going to need to. Because Arcadia, they took some notes and they paid attention. And they've seen other manufacturers try to build a layout like this. They just had some kind of a hard boat bench that wrapped around the back. And people said, we want a theater seat. And they say, you got it. But more than that, they took, I haven't even opened it up. I suspect the bed section that doesn't recline that's on the rear wall here, I'm guessing that is probably a trifold hide-a-bed. They created the opportunity to have like a little bit of a lounge. Now, it's somebody my size, over 6 foot tall, I could not stretch out and lay all the way across that. And this gigantic rear corner console, near as I can tell, is completely hollow. And I do feel it's a wasted, missed opportunity for storage space. I really would like it if they put some kind of outside storage compartment door under this thing so that space just wasn't wasted, because currently I don't really see how you can utilize it very effectively. Also, they put some cup holders right in that big corner console chunk, but I started looking for plugs, where, phone charger plugs, stuff like that. And I found them, but I found them way too far away. They are all the way up there under those overhead cabinet spaces. You got some households and some USBs, which is short form for United States Bees. Now, I paused the camera right here because I wanted to have that cabinetry opened up for you. But what I discovered is that those cabinets don't have any sort of struts to them. So they're gravity doors. Holy cow. I don't even know why you guys watch me. Anyway, you get the idea. There's storage there, but you're going to have to stand on the sofa, and it's going to take 2 hands to always get to it. As I suspected, this is a little sleeper sofa section. It's, a couple could sleep on this. They're going to be elbow bumping, for sure, but you can make it work. Or if you just have like one grandkid overnight or something like that. But then we get over here to the entertainment center. I tell you what, because this thing has like a big old jumbotron. You can still sit at one of the theater seats even when this hide-a-bed's open. You can see my reflection there. I'm not like sitting weirdly on furniture. This is as direct viewing at eye level as you could ever really hope for out of one of these things. And something else I kind of noticed on this one, if you're over here on this little corner lounge, you just kind of got, I have a no shoes on the furniture policy. So if you're just kind of, I don't know how else to say it other than just half cocked on this thing, and sitting here on an angle with kind of a leg just slung up on this sucker, it's good. But look really closely under the bottom left corner of that television. I had to shove the Keystone owner's packet back there because the cords that are plugged into the TV, the tension on those kept swinging that pantry-tainment door back shut. And if you're not familiar with Nerdism number 37, what does pantry-tainment mean? Well, that's when there's basically big old pantry storage behind the entertainment center. I did notice probably because this is a Arcadia Select, the more price-sensitive series, it doesn't have the electric fireplace down here, but a lot of electric fireplaces have wasted dead air storage pocket space behind them. This one gets to utilize that space, which kind of helps make up for a little bit of that lost storage in that one rear corner that we were talking about. And this is what I was saying. Your overhead doors on the Select series don't seem to have any sort of struts on them. They just want to drop themselves down. They apparently ain't listened to Uncle Bob Seger talk about that strut. If I snake my way back here a little bit, lean way back in the corner because I don't use a fisheye wide angle lens, so I got to crawl on furniture to get you these shots. The kitchen space looks kind of like a miss. And I will say, what I say by that is it has a lot of storage. It doesn't necessarily have a lot of countertop space. This is a floor plan where that sort of multi-function dining table, that was the owner's packet that fell on the floor, by the way, when I closed the TV. This thing will potentially need to double as some kind of counter space. So if you're looking for something less than 32 feet, basically, and you want to focus more on the living experience and less on the kitchen cooking experience, this might be a good fit for you. Or if you're just a person who can live out of a microwave and you don't need a lot of actual prep space, with all of the dry storage, like all of the cabinet storage space that you have in this one, you might, really be able to stock up on your favorite survival snacks for a long time right here. You could put a lot of marshmallows and graham crackers and chocolate bars in here and have s'mores galore outside. You just don't have a lot of room on the interior of the RV to prep that stuff. The kitchen space here, though, around the microwave, it's a conventional microwave, and it's a smaller microwave. But I do like the symmetry that they built into this, and I do appreciate how they put those power outlets on the cabinet space. And notice how the stovetop is not smashed up directly against the side, like of a refrigerator. So there's some really good aspects to this. It just has limited counter space. Frankly, that's the only downside to the kitchen of it. It's just that it has limited counter space. Something just occurred to me. I haven't closed the slide on this RV yet to look at it in road mode. It just occurred to me, this is going to have near flawless travel function. Again, we'll come back to that. In the meantime, though, something I just noticed, the very bottom of the middle cabinet has a power outlet shoved back in there. So that could be maybe a little phone charge pocket or station or Bluetooth speaker station. Again, they did an amazing job putting power outlets down where I think they matter most. You know what I mean? And, the easiest to reach appliances where you have counter space, you have power outlets. They really, really nailed that. We almost were visited by the president of Keystone RV just now. But the thing is, when I'm recording videos like this, I tend to deadbolt the door, and he spotted me in the window and he ski-daddled. So maybe he's wanted by the FBI and didn't want to be, eyeballed. Remember that floating bench that we saw? It actually does have a flip-top kind of situation, like a Pez dispenser, and you have some storage in there. Again, I threw the Keystone owner's manuals in there just to try to give you another point of reference. I also want to give them some credit here. They gave us an actual shade for the privacy door. And this is the most basic fifth wheel Arcadia makes. And I can't tell you how many quote unquote luxury fifth wheels I see that are lacking that basic feature. It just grinds my gears. It seems so stupid to just, step over $1 to pick up a dime like that, Up here in the bathroom, I can reach it. It's over here. It's easy to miss because they built it in so nicely, but that actually is a really nice close. There we go. Medicine cabinet. I didn't want to accidentally leave that open. Then this RV get pulled out of here and the window or the mirror smashes against something, Looking at the left side of the screen, storage below the sink. I think very effective for no bigger than this space is. A small little garbage bag or garbage can. The ones that like you can put the Walmart plastic bags in to use as a liner, would fit very nicely under there. The porcelain foot flush stool is fairly fluffy friendly. And when I demo the elbow room around me, keep in mind, I did not have open the sliding privacy door over here. So you'll actually gain like an extra 1.5 inches of elbow room. As we work our way up the shower, that is one of those kind of retractable shower doors. And we do have, is that 2 or 3? 3 spaces to hang some towels over here. Basic 4-inch bathroom fan, but some really surprisingly nice headroom in here. It's so weird to me how some fifth wheels do such a good job of building good headroom in the upper deck, and some of them just absolutely suck at it. It's weird. You think that would be one of those things that more product managers would kind of be dialed into, but some really get it and some do not. So that floating bench in the kitchen, the cushion for your back, it just detaches. Apparently I chucked it up here on the 60 by 80 True Queen bed and then I forgot about it. So yeah, that probably normally wouldn't just be laying there. But frankly, I don't know that it matters enough to like, I'm not going to reshoot footage because there's a cushion laying on a mattress. That seems stupid. Remember, this is single air standard, second air optional. Your second air in the bedroom is not centrally ducted, though. That is a direct dump air conditioner. Some people say, yeah, but that means that you're double air conditioning the smallest room of the RV. Potentially, yes. But if you leave the bedroom door open during the day, think about this. What happens to cold air? It goes down. If you have that thing pumping up here in the bedroom, in the highest part of the RV, it will slowly work its way down into the living room. And it's not necessarily the most ideal and or efficient, but it's not terrible. It works essentially well enough, is what I can tell you. Now, if you're looking at this, you might notice some decent, essentially dresser space beside and all the way over the bed. And by the way, the yellow stickers on those household outlets are telling you that they are inverter prepped. And there are some USB plugs right up on that headboard shelf area right there. But you might notice you don't exactly have any hanging wardrobe closet space. The good news is they have you covered on that, because if we work our way over here around the corner, that's where you're going to find it. Instead of building this with a closet slide out, which adds weight and cost and seals and an extra slide mechanism, they just build the closet storage right here into the wall. And actually, you end up with more closet and dresser space than you would with a wardrobe slide. And they had the ability to put some TV hookups directly across from the bed because they went with a swinging bedroom door instead of a sliding bedroom door. There's benefits both ways, but I kind of like this execution over here. But to give you a look at the storage in this space, there you go. Now, this does not have any sort of washer dryer prep and or accommodations. A lot of times, some manufacturers, when you see a closet in a bedroom corner like this, you'll run into that. This is not big enough, not deep enough. It does not have the plumbing run to it. What you do have, though, are 3 big dresser drawers. So if you're more of a folding clothes person than a hanging clothes person, this bedroom's probably going to work very, very well for you. And it occurs to me, I forgot to lift the bed. I don't usually do this live on camera, but since this is gas strutted, it makes it pretty darn easy, even if you've got little weakling chicken arms like mine. It's storage. I don't think I need to explain that anymore. I definitely have a tendency, if you ask me what time it is, I build you a clock. I know that. It's my best and my worst quality. The way that I'm looking at this, the reason I do that is, like, if I was going to spend this kind of money, man, I'd want to learn everything about this thing. But sometimes I definitely talk way more than I need to. Anyway, I also close the slide up. Looking at this in road mode, the bedroom and bathroom are 100% functional because there's no slides, there's nothing blocking you from up there. But with the slide closed, look at this. You can get to the sink. You lose maybe a couple drawers, a couple cabinets, but you can get to the sink. You can get to the refrigerator. You can get to the stove. You can use the entertainment, assuming you add an inverter for a travel stop to run those appliances. You can get to the theater seat. You can get to the dining. You never have to touch the slide button. This is an exceptionally good floor plan for someone who likes to do a lot of travel stops. And if you appreciate that we take the time to showcase all this stuff for you, hit that subscribe button. And let's go talk towing. Now, this is one of those Goose and Maverick kind of fifth wheels that can fly you right into the danger zone. And what I mean by that is, if you call the average RV dealership and you say, I have a half-ton pickup, can I tow that? Most of them are just going to go, yes, give me your paycheck. If they don't immediately ask, tell me about your half-ton, hang up the phone and or walk out the door. That's a place that does not care at all about your safety. Either the person you're talking to is an unscrupulous shark or they weren't trained properly. Whatever the case may be, I don't think this pairs up well with most half-ton pickups. There are potentially some, but generally speaking, a 3/4 would be a better fit here. This obviously looks, the shape of it looks a little bit like Pearl from SpongeBob SquarePants with the sperm whale appearance on it right here. But moving on from that, the fact that this has no slides on the campsite is really nice because you really get to maximize your patio space. But I try to be fair. The awning space isn't bad. The awning looks smaller than it actually is because it's such a big, open, empty slide wall. And you see this giant window back here that's not covered by an awning. And you're like, well, I want it to be covered by an awning. The thing is, if you look at the taper of the roof line, it just wouldn't work. If they extended that awning arm all the way back past this window, the awning arm would go off of the roof. It just doesn't work on this model right here. So what I might recommend doing is getting like a little 10 by 10 easy up screen room, bug screen room or something like that you have back here in the corner. I could see that working awful darn nicely. And again, the window coverage on this, I think, is just the signature calling card of this floor plan. Maximized, absolutely maximized viewing of your site. And I'm noticing those are frameless windows that typically they don't use on this series. So I don't know if that's a prototype feature or an optional feature. It's possible it's one or either of those things. One or either is kind of like telling the time you in London and England. I'm going Monty Python stupid over here. It is walkable roof. It is ladder prepped. We do have the 3,000 pound towing package on the back of this. So if you've got a state that allows for recreational doubles towing, which is pretty common on fifth wheels, or if you just have like a bike rack or a cargo pod or something, you have that available to you. This does have an enclosed heated belly. The Arcadia Select series is the only Arcadia fifth wheel that does not have standard auto leveling. You have power front leveling jacks, then you have power rear stabilizers. So you still aren't manually cranking anything. And frankly, it's interesting to me because for the vast majority of my career and for about 50 years in the RV industry, nobody needed auto leveling. But and don't get me wrong, auto leveling is nice. I'm not saying people that like auto leveling are silly or stupid or anything like that. But it's become viewed as a must-have necessity, and people got along without it for a long, long time. I think it's just one of those things where sometimes a little bit of education on it would help a bit. Oh, before I forget, let me get you down here. I mentioned how it has a heated enclosed belly. Something that's easy to miss, though, is you do have a gas grill cooker hooker right there. So if you want to bring your own little grill or griddle or something like that, you have the little opportunity to do it. And for no bigger than the fifth wheel is, I think it's got pretty fair pass-through capacity. And if we pass through the pass-through, we get over here to the driver's side of the RV. I like how they put the docking center separate from the pass-through so that just, God forbid, you have a hose fitting that isn't seated quite properly and it's kind of spraying or dripping. It's in a plastic contained compartment. It's not just, blasting water into the front compartment, the pass-through of your RV. On-demand water heater over here. I am curious. I have not looked. Is this it is. It's a single sewer outlet kind of camper. So you don't have to go juggling sewer hoses across, God's green acres over here, as it were. You might have noticed that is a cable slide system. It's a long slide, and there's definitely a lot of bulk in it, but it is very shallow, so it's probably going to get along just fine. Up top on the roof, you will see that this does have the normal Keystone 220-watt solar package. It also does have a portable prep plug just in front of that propane door that you're looking at the bottom middle of the screen currently. There's a little black dot in there. If you want to get a portable panel to plug into that sucker to be able to kind of float around and chase the sun, you could do that too. And it is a standard leaf spring suspension system, but they do give it an upgraded pin box. Now, if you wanted to do something like do a road armor suspension upfit on this, you could. Probably cost a couple $100, but you could do that. And if you're going to do some high mileage towing, it may not necessarily be a bad idea to do something like that. Now, it's a little dark in there. You can see the battery box, the spare tire. I like the spare tire being protected away from the weather. I like the struts holding that baggage door open instead of some cheap plastic holdback. But if you do experience a flat tire, first of all, bummer. Secondly, you'll almost always have to unhook the truck from the fifth wheel to open that compartment door enough to get the spare tire out. And even if you don't have to do that, you're going to be swearing a couple big swears a couple times. So just kind of a fair and candid point to consider here. So what do you think? Again, remembering that this is the lowest trim package of 3 levels of Arcadia, I feel pretty good about this thing. I never get my hand twisted far enough to give you the 3. And if I go like that, it just, I don't know. It doesn't feel like my wrist doesn't twist that way. Anyway. whatever. I don't, typical for me. The video just goes way off the rails at the end. There's links in the video description where you can double check pricing and availability. I'll leave you a couple links for similar things down there as well. I mentioned that Impression fifth wheel. Cherokee Grey Wolf makes a travel trailer, also fairly similar to this, that you might consider looking at if you are trying to stick more within the half-ton towability or have a more limited budget available to you. There's some options there for you too. And if you appreciate how we get down here and do our best to get you all new things, hit that subscribe button and we'll see you next time. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.